Good morning, all of you. So, welcome back for the IQM lecture. So, already we have finished the sixth chapter. Okay, only two chapters are remaining. So, today we will start the chapter number second last chapter. Okay, chapter number 7, statistical process control. Okay, SPC. So, already we have started the section number second, quality management. Okay, in that quality management, we discussed about introduction to the quality. Okay, total quality management. And today we will start the chapter 7, statistical process control. So, what we have discussed in last chapter, total quality management. So, which factors are required? So, we have to consider that factor to quality improvement. Okay, already we have discussed a number of definitions, number of types, parts. Okay, so total quality management is whenever the standard or branded industries are there. Okay, so they are using the total quality management concept. Definitely, by using total quality management concept, entire uh, growth of that industry. Okay, entire growth is nothing but profit of that industry, quality of that industry, industrial products, employee environment, participation, customer satisfaction. So okay, all the points will be implemented there. Okay, or considered in that total quality management. Now, basic total quality management is nothing but the from start of that product to the end of product. Okay, or whatever the process, entire process of that product is nothing but the total quality management. So each and every time we have to consider the quality improvement. Whenever we will give entire quality or each step, definitely your entire journey or entire um, process of that workpiece will be, or whatever product may be there, service may be there, will be very effectively. Okay, whenever your product, service, production is effectively, definitely profit will gain, your brand will be in market, hmm, selling maximum selling as compared to others. Definitely, within minimum time, customer will satisfy, your employee will be definitely satisfied. Is it right? So that points are very important for the total quality management. Okay, so let's start the chapter number 7, statistical process control. Okay, so unit number 7 is a statistical process control. So what is the basic meaning of that statistical process control? Now here, the whatever the service or manufacturing process may be there. Okay, in that the some statistic data is required. Is it right? Suppose for example, currently COVID situation is there. Okay, so from after 2 days or after 1 May. Okay, so whatever the Covaxin or whatever the COVID shield, is can take the above 80 years, whatever the person. Okay, so for that purpose, how government has defined that above 18 years can be are eligible for the vaccination. Okay, so according to something data, okay, whatever the statistic is available, so they have compared data. Okay, how many vaccines are produced, how many vaccines are remaining. Is it right? Now, and how many people are remaining. So this is a statistic. Okay, according to the statistic, we can decide, or we can take the decision. Okay, so this is a very important for the quality improvement also. Okay, so we have to implement that statistical data in our industrial organization or whatever the any organization. Is it right? So statistical process control is a very essential for the record purpose, for the analysis purpose. Is it right? For the um, 1 minute. Okay, statistical processing and also this is a very useful and in currently different industries. Okay, in each and every industries, something data for example employee behavior data. Okay, raw material collection, raw material whatever the mm, use of that particular material. Okay, something employee data, for example what is the salary, what is the income tax. Okay, what is the different types of allowances. Okay, so for that purpose the number of data is required. Okay, or we can save the data, but it is possible to save each and every data. Suppose for example in automotive industry is manufacturing lot of automobiles. Okay, is it possible to present each and every vehicle data? Okay, this is very critical because the data is very huge, is it right? For that purpose we have to use statistics. Okay, so whenever we will use the statistic, definitely for the analysis, for the understanding purpose, you will get very easiness. Okay, so that is the main benefit of the statistical process control. Okay, so what is the syllabus for basically introduction to the SPC, statistical process control, basic introduction, control charts for the variables and attributes. Okay, already we have discussed that charts. Okay, but we will discuss again here control charts. So we have learn deeply different charts. Okay, so here we will take what is actually how to use the different chart. Okay, so in the chapter one problem is also there, C chart on P chart. Okay, two problems are there, so we will try to solve that problems also, and that will be very useful in your industrial career. Okay, for example in gate examination. Okay, so this type of problem may be asked. Okay, so we will start that problem after completion of this theoretical part. Hmm? So control charts for variables and attributes, interpretation and applications of X chart, R, P, C charts. Okay. So in this statistical process, charts is nothing but the representation of the data. Okay. For example, here the number of data are available. So we have to represent that data. For example, we are manufacturing the pen. Okay, or we are manufacturing the small components. Okay, is it possible to record or maintain to present each and every aspects of that product? Okay, so this is very difficult. Okay, for example we are suppose we are manufacturing the automotives. Okay, or two wheeler vehicles. So number of two wheeler vehicles, so how we can represent that vehicle? Okay. So something whatever the we can say that the performance of each and every product may be different. Okay, or little changes may be there. Okay, so we can find out whatever the um, analysis of that product. Okay, for example how we can calculate the average of a vehicle. Okay, for example number of brands are available in market. Okay, Hero, Honda, whatever the Bajaj. Okay, so which vehicle we have to buy? Okay, so what is the customer's requirement? Okay, how customer will select our vehicle, is it right? So that points are also very important. Now according to the data. Okay, generally whenever we want to buy any vehicle, okay, we generally says that our requirement. Okay, so we require the maximum average, is it right? So we require minimum price. So that whatever that salesman will give you information about the entire or available products in market. Okay, so according to your requirement, they will give or they will suggest you that brand, is it right? Now how they will suggest? So they will take whatever the information from the statistics available of that particular industry. Okay, so for that purpose the statistical is also important. After that control charts, interpretation and application of X, R, P and C charts. Okay, so these are the some advanced charts. Okay, whatever we already discussed the different types of charts. Okay, in last chapter. Okay, for example histograms. Okay, so I think 7 tools we have discussed. Okay, so like that number of tools are available, but we will discuss X chart, R chart, P chart, C chart. Okay, so we in our syllabus problem on P and C charts are also there. Okay, so we will discuss theoretical part as well as problems on P chart and C charts. Okay, so process capability. So that we also discuss in this chapter. Acceptance sampling, sampling plan types, single and double acceptance, is it right? So sampling is very important for the statistic. Okay, why? Because we know, okay, the data is very huge, but analysis of entire data is very critical. Okay, for that purpose we have to take only sample, is it right? So now which sample or how much sample we have to use, this is also very critical, and this is also some theoretical part. So from which area? Suppose for example, we have given one assignment to you, all of you. I think in practical session one assignment is there. Huh? So we have to make a survey. Is it right? Now survey of, for example, we will take the survey of the any two-wheeler vehicle. Okay. So is it possible to reach each and every person of who are using the two-wheeler? Okay. For something criteria or some questionnaire is different. Okay. For example, we want to calculate the average. We want to analyze the whatever the performance of that vehicle. Is it right? But is it possible to reach up to each and every customer, or each and every person who are using two-wheeler? This is very critical. Okay, for that purpose we have to take the sampling only. Okay, for example, in one village, or we can select the areas also. Okay, for example, consider this Pandharpur area. Okay, so we have to analysis of we have to survey of the Pandharpur city. So what is the procedure of that survey? Okay, what is the actually population of Pandharpur is 1.5 lakh. Okay, is it possible to take survey? Okay, so we have to take a sampling at that time. Hmm? For example, which blocks are there, we can say that. Okay, म्हणजे काय म्हणतो ward क्रमांक, which how many wards are there. From that we can select the, suppose in one ward, suppose 10,000 population is there. Okay, so from 10,000 we have to take only 5 or 10. Okay, or we can from 0 to 100. Okay, so this is also standard available in statistical process control. Okay, so we will discuss in that study. Okay, near about 1 by 10. Okay, generally 1 by 10% we have to, or 1 by 2%. Okay, for example 2% or 10%, up to 2 to 10% we can take the sampling. So according to your data, so we can decide that. So there are different types how to select the sampling. Different types, some single, double, operating characteristic curve. So that we'll also discuss. Producer and consumer risk, and numerical treatment on P and C chart. Okay, so producer and consumer risk, this is very important while starting any idea to product. Okay, or idea to service. Everywhere is risk is there. So we will discuss that point in this. Okay, so start the whatever the introduction to the statistical process control. So SPC is defined as the use of statistical techniques. Okay, statistical is nothing but we can say that the some statistic is available there. Okay, or mathematical data. Okay, or some we can say that the tabular data. So SPC is defined as the use of statistical technique to control a process or production method. Is it right? So that SPC or that data, so we can use that data for the controlling also. Okay, so we can generally say that in industry. Okay, so at the controlling department. Okay, so number of LED TVs or number of screens are available. Okay, so they are displaying different types of analysis. Okay, so here also we are using statistical process control. Okay, so according to the production method, so we can get the data, and according to that data, according to that control charts, we can control or process of or technique or production process we can control. SPC tools and procedures can help you monitor process behavior, discover issues in internal system, and find solution for the production issues. Okay, so this is generally simple. Tools and producers can help monitor. Now, in this picture, if you are seeing here, okay, so first person is a controlling person. Okay, or who is a observer, we can say that. Okay, so what is the area of that observer? Only he is having some different types of charts. Okay, or some different types of outputs are there. Okay, so they are, he is watching or he is analyzing the data. Okay, in second step some worker is there. Okay, a controller, we can say that. Okay, so and after in third stage actually manufacturing is there. So this is the only difference. Okay, according to the statistical process control, we can control the entire system with the help of statistical data. Is it right? Suppose we can say that from online mode also. Okay, so generally we might be knowing, okay, from last year this pandemic situation is there. Hmm? So number of companies are doing work from home, so it is possible. So yes, this is possible. Why? Because these we are having statistical process control system, is it right? So this is also one benefit of the statistical process control. Now according to the output we are received, so according to that we will take the decision, or if any error is there we can remove it, okay, or we can generally say that the we can find out the solution for the whatever the issues are there. Okay, so this is a important process of the statistical process control. Now basically statistic, we already discussed. The statistic is a branch of science deals with collection, tabulation, interpretation, and the presentation of the questions or questionnaire, whatever the data is available. Is it right? So we already discussed this type of charts. Okay, bar chart, histograms. Okay, horizontal histograms. So this is nothing but a statistic. Now, in detail statistic meaning is statistical is nothing but the tools are used to make predictions on performance with high degree of accuracy. Now, our main important or our main function of that SPC is accuracy. Okay. So for that purpose, which tools are we can say that the accurate. Okay. In market, number of tools are available. Is it right? So which is suitable for us? Okay, so according to that we can take the decision of to selecting. Okay, tools are used to make predictions on performance with a high degree of accuracy. Now this is nothing but the statistical meaning. Now the process involves people, machines, materials, methods, management, and environment working together to the procedure produce an output such as an end product. A process is nothing but the entire schedule or entire area of that work. Is it right? Work of production or maybe service may be there. Is it right? Control. This is a control system which uses statistical techniques for knowing changes in the process. Okay. It is an effective method in preventing defects and helps continuous quality improvement. Okay, so we can take a analysis of that particular product or service. Is it right? Now controlling is also very important. Now how we can use the statistical process control in market. Suppose for example, in this against COVID-19, okay, so number of vaccines are available. Okay, so for manufacturing of that vaccine, availability of that vaccine. Okay, so recently from last 10 days, okay, oxygen is also whatever the demand of oxygen is increased. Okay, so how we can maintain that? So according to the statistics we can manage or we can control the situation. Okay, so government knows, okay, with the help of statistics how many oxygens we are producing. Is it right? For example, for in Maharashtra state only, okay, near about 60 ton oxygen is required. Okay, but in our state only 30 ton of oxygen is manufacturing per day. Okay, so the government has taken decision. Okay, we have to purchase or we have to demand the oxygen from the other state or other countries. Okay, so according to the statistic, this only possible. Is it right? For example, so this is a very best example for the statistical process control. Okay, or for vaccination also. Okay, some statistic is available. So according to that statistic, uh, we can easy the whatever the difficulties. Okay, now control charts. Already we have discussed that control chart is nothing but the some displaying of results. Okay, or displaying of the statistical data. Okay, generally we have discussed a lot. A statistical tool to study the variation in the process over time. A control chart always has a central line for the average. So this is a basic. So already we are dealing with from second year also. Okay, I think from limit. limit, fits and tolerances chapter we have discussed in subject, which subject? Triple M, huh? Message your roll number share all of you. Okay. Now basic information about the control charts. Center line for the average, an upper line for the upper control limit and lower line for the lower control limit. These lines are determined from the historical data. Now how we can decide the upper limit and lower limit? So for that purpose some formulas are also there. Okay, so we can decide the that formula from the previous analysis. Is it right? So for example, upper control limit, lower control limit is equal to x bar plus 3 sigma. So this is some previous or historical data. Is it right? From that we can find out the this is a basic control chart. X axis, y axis, these are the alternatives. Okay, or variables we can say that. Purpose of control chart: analyze the past data and determine the performance of the process and measure control of the process against standard. Now this control charts is nothing but the comparing also. Okay, we can say that the comparison of different data. Okay, from for example we have to compare the this current year data to the last year data. Okay, so for that purpose we have to analyze each and every year through the control charts and we can compare them. Okay, so for that purpose for comparing also or for major control of the process against standards, for that purpose also control charts are required. Analyze the past data and determine the performance of the process. So according to your past data or we can say that the experience. Okay, so for that purpose for the improvement, for the we can say that the quality improvement. Okay, so we have to take reference of the previous data or historical data. Okay, so for that purpose control charts will be take very important role. So control charts for variable and attributes. Okay, so basically control charts there are two types: variables and attributes. Charts for variables now and charts for the attributes. Now for the chart for the variable, average chart and range chart. So X chart, R chart, we will discuss that. So this is a data representation methods. Okay, different types of variables are available. Okay, for example, suppose we want to purchase one vaccine of COVID-19. Okay, so number of variables are available for Covishield, Covaxin. Okay, from China also, from number of state, number of nation has manufactured the different vaccine. Okay, so for that purpose different variables are there. Okay, so we have to take only um, whatever the according to results. Okay, so for that purpose the this average chart will be required. huh? Range chart. Okay, so range chart is nothing but R chart we generally know. So we will discuss also that. Now next type is a charts for attributes, charts for defective item, charts for defect per unit. So that will be very important for the industrial work or manufacturing work. So charts for the defective item, fraction defective, variable, varied sample size, we can say that P chart, and number of defective, constant sample size, NP charts. Okay, so these are the types of charts we can say that the fraction defects under the charts for the defective item. Suppose for example one nut and bolt manufacturing industry is there. Okay, so from that nut and bolt manufacturing number of production is going on. Okay, So how we can find out what is the defective items, okay, or defective products are there. Okay, so fraction defective. For example, there are the some defects are there. For example, the dimension difference may be there. Okay, some fatigue whatever the defects may be there. Is it right? So according to that, we can find out the that fraction defectives. Okay, with the help of p chart. So we will discuss that point in problem also. Okay, so we are having problem. So at the time of problem, oh, idea will be clear after solving the problem. Okay, so next is the np charts. Now chart for defective per unit, constant c chart and u chart, constant sample size and variable sample size. So this point will be is also we have to discuss in sampling. Okay, now summary definition. The central tendency is the extent to which all the data values group around the typical or central value. The variation is the amount of dispersion or scattering of values. Now this is a important factors while analyzing or while reading the control charts. Okay, central tendency is nothing but the extent to which all the data values group around the typical or central value. So grouping of data. Okay, so for example, government is giving that PM Kisan काय म्हणतो आपण त्याला PM किसान काय ते 6,000 रुपये आपल्याला मिळतात बरोबर का शेतकऱ्यांना. ओके, सो नाव सेंट्रल टेंडन्सी दे हॅव डिफाईन्ड. ओके, म्हणजे तिथं असं म्हणत नाही की हा शेतकरी हे पाहिजे महाराष्ट्र किंवा ह्या भागातला नाही. सेंट्रली टेंडन्सी त्यांनी काय केलेलं आहे. सो फॉर एक्झाम्पल सेंट्रल गव्हर्नमेंट अँड द स्टेट गव्हर्नमेंट. ओके, सो वी आर नोईंग what is the situation or what is the bonding of central and state government. Okay, so we will not discuss here. So some central in the whatever the central tendency or central decision if taken, okay, so that decision will be mandatory to state also. Okay, but states some different number of states are there. Okay, so is it same situation of each and every state? Okay, this is very different, but according to central tendency we have to manage that. Okay, so for that purpose that will be important point in decision. Okay, the variation in is the amount of dispersion or scattering of the values. So variation is there. The shape is the pattern of the distribution of values from the lowest value to the highest value. एक मिनिट, गाडी काय पुकारते काय करणार, एक मिनिट डिस्टर्बन्स होत झाला. Now next point is the types of sampling. Okay, so there are two types: single sampling plan and double sampling plan. Multiple sampling, third type is also there. So what is the sampling? I think in M3 you might be studied the sampling. Is it right? Some नव्हतं syllabus मध्ये. Is it anyone is remaining sorry remembering whether you have studied the sampling in M3, because you are all are engineers. Okay, so definitely without M1, M2, M3 we can't complete the engineering. Is it right? म्हणजे तिथं तुम्ही म्हणत होता कुठे मॅथ्स लागतंय बरोबर का, तर ते आपल्याला इथं लागतं इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये. होतं का सिलेबस मध्ये तुमच्या एनीवन? आमच्या वेळेस तर रिमूव्ह केलं सॅम्पलिंग, तुमच्या वेळेस होतं का माहित नाही मला. But sampling is nothing but the for the analysis purpose. Okay, so already we have discussed in morning. at the start of this lecture. Okay, so there are different types of, so we will directly start the sampling types. So single sampling, under single sampling plan, a sample of n item is first chosen at the random from a lot of n item. Okay, small n. Suppose for example there are population of one village is 3000. Okay, suppose my village population is 3000. So we have to survey, we have to take a sample. Okay, so capital N is nothing but 3000, and how much sample we have to take. For example, from the 3000, so we can take the 30, minimum 30 samples. Is it right? From that 30 sample, how many, how whatever the male, female. Okay, so this is a different, whatever the age between. So that points is also different. So we have to consider all the factors also. Okay, educated, non-educated. Is it right? Middle, काय म्हणतो आपण त्याला, तीन स्तर आहेत की तुमचे. Okay, so this will also we have to consider. If the sample contains says C or few defectives, the lot is accepted. While if it contains more than C defective, the lot is rejected. For example, for that purpose, we can take the example of one manufacturing industry. Okay, for example, nut and bolt, we can take one example, so very simple example. Okay, suppose one industry is manufacturing nut and bolt. Okay, so within 1 hour they are manufacturing 1000 nut and bolt. So is it possible to check each and every nut and bolt? Okay, so this is by using go gauge, no go gauge. Is it right? So these are the some measurement process. Okay, but from the entire production we have to take only sample. For example, within 1 hour, one nut and bolt manufacturing industry is manufacturing 1000 nut and bolt. Okay, so what is our capacity to maintain that quality or maintain that analysis? For example, from the lot of 1000 we have to measure the 30, minimum 30. Okay, 30 मध्ये किती टक्के झाले? 10, 3%. Okay, 3% we have to take a sample. For example, from lot of 1000 nut and bolt we have to measure the 30 sample. If this is 30 is nothing but C. Okay, C value is nothing but the standard value. म्हणजे 30 पेक्षा जर कमी असतील तर टोटल लॉट आपण काय करतोय, बाहेर काढतो 1000चा. ओके, सो दिस इज अ ऍक्च्युअली सॅम्पलिंग. इज इट राईट? सो वी हॅव टू टेक बाहेर, म्हणजे पुन्हा अजून त्या 1000 मधले राहिलेले असतील तर त्याच्यामधले पुन्हा लॉट करून ते आपल्याला अनालिसिस करावं लागतं. ओके, सो दिस इज द स्टँडर्ड. ओके, सो दिस इज वी कॅन से दॅट द सिंगल सॅम्पलिंग. Is it right? So if sample contains say C or few defective, the lot is accepted. While if it contains more than C defective, the lot is rejected. C is known as the acceptance number. So this is the final number. So we have discussed 30. We can select 30 samples. From the 30 sample, we can say that from the 30 sample, minimum 50% will be काय म्हणतो आपण त्याला, मग त्या 30 मधले पण 15 तुमचे चांगले पाहिजेत. जर 15 पेक्षा 20 वगैरे जर खराब असतील तर आपल्याला तो लॉट वी हॅव टू reject. Okay, so this is that value, whatever the value decided. Now 30 is a sampling. Okay, and which suppose for example 50% is 15. Okay, so 15 products will be C value. Okay, so this is nothing but very simple single sampling. So count, so whatever the defective is less than or equal to sample size. Okay, so if yes, then accept the lot, and if no, the reject lot. Okay, so already we have discussed. But double sampling, under this sampling plan, a sample of n1 item is first chosen at random from the lot of size. म्हणजे बघा आता मगाशी काय झालं, इन सिंगल मध्ये आपण जर 15 जर असतील 1000 मधले जर बरोबर तरच तो ऍक्सेप्ट होणार आहे, बरोबर. जर 16 जरी आला तर तो टोटल स्लॉट आपल्याला रिजेक्ट करावा लागणार. मग ते टोटल स्लॉट रिजेक्ट करा म्हणजे तुमचं किती लॉस असणार आहे. ओके, सो दॅट टाइम वी हॅव टू यूज द डबल सॅम्पलिंग. इज इट राईट? मग पुन्हा त्याचे तुम्ही काय करणार आहे, पुन्हा डबल सॅम्पलिंग साईज घेणार. सो हाऊ, सो सी हिअर. So n1 item is first chosen at random from the lot size of capital N. If the sample contains say C1 or few defectives, suppose here also we have to decide some standard C1 and C2. The lot C1 or few defectives, the lot is accepted if contains more than C2 defectives. Okay, the lot is rejected after, म्हणजे काय होणार आहे, C1 or C2, two samples we have to decide. Okay, so according to that we have to select acceptance or rejection. Okay, if however the number of defective in the sample exceeds C1 but is not more than C2, a second sample of the N2 item is take from the sum lot. म्हणजे काय होते बघा, फॉर एक्झाम्पल 1000 कॉम्पोनंट मधून, बरोबर का, from the 1000 component, so we have to select two values. Okay, so suppose we have taken sample size 30, from that 30 10 to 20. Okay, 10 to 20 components, suppose for example C1 is 10 and C2 is 20. Now between C1 and C2 is accepted. Okay, but less than C1 and greater than C2 is rejected. Is it right? So for that purpose, if this situation is be there, okay, so we can take the next sample from the remaining. Okay, so this is nothing but the double sample. The total number of defective in the two sample together does not exceed C2. The lot is accepted, otherwise it is rejected. C1 is known as acceptance number for the first sample and C2 is acceptance number for the both samples take together. Okay, so this is a basic information. So we will discuss in this chart. Count the number of defective D1 in the first sample. Okay, D1 is less than or equal to C1. Okay, if yes, accept the lot. If no, then check again C1 is less than or equal to D1 and is greater than or equal to C2. So again second time we have to select one lot. Okay, for example 10 to 20. Suppose that sample or that will be between 10 to 20, definitely that will be accepted. Okay, so this is a basic sampling. Okay, आता बघा हे सॅम्पलिंग म्हणजे माझ्यामध्ये एक एक सब्जेक्ट आहे ज्यावरती सॅम्पलिंगवरती. ओके, आपल्या म्हणजे M3 मध्ये पण 2 चॅप्टर होते सॅम्पलिंगचे. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हेरी ह्यूज theoretical part. Okay, but only in our syllabus we have taken only one introduction part. Okay, so is it we can say that this is sufficient for the our theoretical part, huh? So in problem also we will take that also. A multiple sampling, under this sampling a decision to accept or reject a lot is taken after inspecting more than two samples of small size each. In this plan units are examined one at a time, and after examining each unit decision is taken. However, such plans are complicated and hence rarely used in practice. Okay, so म्हणजे आता ह्याच्यापेक्षा तिसरा टाइप आहे. So control limits. Next point is control limits. Already we have discussed this point, but so forming the upper control limit and the lower control limit. How to decide the upper control limit and lower control limit? Okay, suppose for example this is a central line. Okay, process average. Okay, now how we can decide the upper control limit? So upper control limit is nothing but a process mean plus 3 standard deviations, something. Okay, so this is the example taken. Is it right? So upper control limit is nothing but the process mean plus 3 standard deviation, or we can say that the tolerances. Is it right? Now unit control charts. Using control charts are used to check the process control. If the process is found to be out of control, steps should be taken to find and eliminate the special causes of the variation. In control process, this is again theoretical part. I think we have discussed in last chapter. A process is said to be in a control when the control chart does not indicate any out of control condition, contains only common cause of variation. If the common causes of the variation is small, then control charts can be used to monitor the process. If the common causes of the variation is too large, you need to alter the process. So number of processes are there. For example, histogram. So for which purpose histograms we can use? Okay, scatter diagram. So according to data, okay, so we can find out the, or we can select the whatever that control chart method for the analyzing. Is it right? म्हणजे जो ECG असतो आपला, काय म्हणलो आपण त्याला, जे मेडिकलमध्ये असतं बघा, तुमचे हार्टबीट मोजण्यासाठी, बरोबर का. मग ते लाईन असते बघा, आपण कुठला चार्ट बघितला लास्ट, ECGच ना, इलेक्ट्रोकार्डिओग्राफी काहीतरी बघितलं आपण. ओके, सो इन दॅट, सो अकॉर्डिंग टू दॅट ECG वी कॅन से दॅट, ECG नाही दुसरंच काहीतरी होतं ते. ओके, सो दॅट डिस्प्ले, ओके, सो वी कॅन we will get idea about that internal process of that product or that human. Okay, so this is nothing but this is also use of the process control charts. Process in control, points are randomly distributed around the center line and all points are within control limit. So this is again control limit. So suppose for the acceptance, so our result should be in between upper control limit and lower control limit, that will be accepted. Process not in control, out of control, म्हणजे greater than upper control limit and lower than, below than lower control limit is rejected. Okay, so not in control. So we can generally say that this process is not in control. One or more points outside control limit, 8 or more points in row on one side of the central line. हा म्हणजे वर्टिकल हॉरिझॉन्टल हे पण असणार आहे, बरोबर का. निगेटिव्ह शुड नॉट बी ॲक्सेप्टेड. The process not in control. Okay, suppose for example in one first diagram, okay, one element is not above the upper control limit. Okay, I think second vertical second diagram is 8 or more points in row moving in the same direction. हे पण पुढे काय होणार आहे बघा, पुढे जाऊन हे काय होणार आहे, क्रॉस करण्याची शक्यता आहे, बरोबर का. ओके, सो दिस प्रोसेस इज ऑल्सो नॉट इन कंट्रोल. सो 8 or more points in row on one side. ओके, म्हणजे काय होणार आहे इथं, मॅक्सिमम अप्पर कंट्रोल मध्ये नाही, सगळे लोअर कंट्रोल लिमिट मध्ये. सो दॅट विल ऑल्सो नॉट ऍक्सेप्टेड. इज इट राईट? So these are the standards, huh? So according to your application we can select that strategy, or we can select the strategy for that. Is it right? Or standard we can say that. Okay. So out of control process, when the control charge indicates an out of control condition. Okay, a point outside the control limit already, म्हणजे हे जर असं जर असेल तर काय सांगितलं बघा, प्रोसेस नॉट इन कंट्रोल contains both common causes of variation and assignable causes of the variation. The assignable causes of variation must be identified. The detrimental to the quality assignable causes of variation must be removed. Okay, if increases the quality, assignable causes must be incorporated into the process design. So according to that chart we can get an idea. Okay, suppose for example this first diagram is there. Okay, so I think 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 analysis, okay, or 7 process is out of control. Okay, so we can select directly, we will get an idea. So 7 number product is having some error. Okay, so we will check the what is the reason behind that. Okay, why they are crossing the upper control limit. You try. So this is also helpful for the controlling and find out the error also. Okay, or maintenance also. Okay, so this is a very important control charts in industrial or service sector or in production sector. Okay, so these are the basic. Okay, so tomorrow we will start the R chart, H chart, and we will start the problem also. Okay, so we will stop here. Okay, so which points we have discussed today? Those are remaining. Please message your roll number here. डबल करू नका, पहिल्यांदा केले असतील तर. I will analyze that. Control charts, basic, again types of sampling, single, double and multiple. Definition, basic information of the SPC. Okay, so we will stop here. So thank you very much for attending this lecture. Okay, and write down here the your roll numbers also. Thank you very much. So we will meet again tomorrow. Today only. अजून एक लेक्चर आहे आपलं बरोबर.